And I, as my role as host of this program, will endeavor to answer your questions to the best of my ability using our Catholic Church, our tradition, our fathers, the scripture, our saints, our doctors, our theologians, our councils, and anything that I can muster to answer your questions so that you walk away satisfied your question has been answered. Now, it would be the same thing with Buddhism. If someone were to ask me, what do the Buddhists believe? What do they do? I mean, they're made in the image of God. That's very clear in the Bible. All men are made in the image of God. Romans 1 says, all men know God exists. By just looking at the creation, they know a God exists, even though they'll deny it. Some of them, not all. So if that's the case, then where does the Buddhist stand? What does he do about all this facts that he's been made in the image of God? He knows God exists. Well, then what does he do with it? And here's the Vatican II's answer. Buddhism teaches a way by which men in a devout and confident spirit may be able either to acquire the state of perfect liberation or attain by their own efforts or through higher help, supreme illumination. Exactly what Buddhism does. When I was studying Buddhism, yeah. You think they're going to go halfway? No, they want it all. They want to know, how can I deal with the ups and downs of life? How can I be confident in my own life? How can I treat my wife correctly and my children? How can I, what do I have to do? Well, I first get a devout and confident spirit, and then I seek for a perfect liberation, liberation from the evil of the world, let's say. And I can do this by myself. And I want all of it. I want supreme illumination. Hey, there you go. They're not going to be slack in their own efforts to use what they think is going to get them the answers that they need. They're going to do exactly what Vatican II says here. It says Buddhism teaches a way by which men, blah, 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 blah. Well, of course they do. So in other words, Vatican II is just acknowledging what the Buddhists do. Here you have another statement of fact. What are Buddhists? Here are Buddhists. This is what they do. And it just described it. Okay. Does that mean that we have to now understand the Buddhist as being on the same spiritual level as the Catholic Christian? No way. Okay. Why? Because we have the gospel that gives us the exact truth of how we deal with all these things. The Buddhist, because he's made in the image of God and know God exists, whatever his concept of Buddha is, this abstract Buddha, okay, the yin yang or whatever you want to call it, the unity, the unification of all things, as they talk about and all this, they're trying to find a way to deal with life. Okay, and they have a certain philosophy that they go to. That's a fact. And until someone comes in there who holds the Christian gospel and says, well, look, I appreciate all the effort you put in to searching for, supreme illumination, okay, but you're headed down the wrong path, okay? You may get, you may be in a good disposition because you think you're doing all these things to attain supreme illumination, but you're not going to get to the goal you want. Here's how you do it. There's this man named Jesus Christ. He said this and this and this and this. He came from the Father 2,000 years. So you begin to preach the gospel to them. Now, he's either going to accept it or reject it. Okay. But at least he's on the path toward admitting that there's a God in the first place. Okay. Because they believe there's a God. Now, the Hindus do too, but, there's 33 million of them, and so you got a little problem there. But the fact is, they're not like the atheist who says, look, I'm not even going to listen to what you have to say. There is no God. You're evolutionists out there. Most of them don't believe in God. Okay, because science has taken over. That's their God. They worship, energy or mass or whatever it is that they want to worship. They're basically idols. Okay, so you're going to have a harder time with them than you are with some Buddhists and Hinduists or Shintoists or Zoroastrianists or whoever they are. They all have an idea that there's a supreme being, and that's the place to start with them, just like Paul did in Acts 17. On Mars Hill, he talking to the Athenians and told them, he looked around, he saw their statues and icons and all kinds of things, and he said to them, just point blank, God is not represented by these statues that you pray to or worship. I can tell that you believe God exists, okay, but you're going about it in the wrong way. Let me tell you the right way to do it. And he said, basically, it was kind of stinging because he said, in the past, God used to put up with that stuff. He's not going to do it anymore. Why? Well, because we have the revelation of Jesus Christ. He came. He fulfilled all those prophecies. And so now he can tell you what the exact truth is about the Trinity, the incarnation, all that kind of stuff. We can tell you about it now.